Welcome to Sculpture Vulture. I'm Lucy Branch, a sculptural conservator and author, bringing you a series of interviews with some amazing sculptors who inspire me, and I hope will do the same for you. You can see the photographs accompanying the interview, the episode show notes, and get a free novel from sculpturevulture.co.uk. Hello, Sculpture Vultures, and this is just a short update from me today. I was working this week on the fringe of Cambridge. As you can tell from my accent, I am from the UK, so I do mean Cambridge in the UK. But I had the privilege of working in the most beautiful little parish church called St Mary Magdalene in Madingley, which is just on the edge of the city. I was restoring a really lovely war memorial plaque, and it's often quite difficult to work on war memorials when you start to engage with them and the names that they have. I had to hold back my tears quite a lot because there was one family particularly who had 4 sons lost and all named on the plaque. My eldest boy being 16 now, I just can't imagine what sending him off must have been like. And I often work in silence, and so to distract myself, I let my thoughts run away with me, and usually that's when I start thinking about ideas for new fiction works, but I didn't do it this time. I was actually thinking about the podcast. I realised that many listeners might have come to Cambridge and wouldn't have thought to have come to the Madingley area, but actually it's really worth a visit. It's only minutes away from the town centre if you have a car. And firstly, I really do encourage you to visit the St Mary's Parish Church set in the grounds of Madingley Hall. As you come through the gates, it's the most picturesque, quintessentially English little parish church you've ever seen. And even if you're from the UK and maybe you're a little bit more familiar with these kind of churches, it's really a charming thing. But also the church is situated in the grounds of Madingley Hall, which is a very fine building and part of the University of Cambridge. In 1861, Queen Victoria rented it for her son, Edward, Prince of Wales, as the hall for him to have residence in while he was studying at the university. Just as you do, it's not quite the normal student digs that most of us get if we go off to college, even if you're in Cambridge, where the student accommodation is a little bit more grand than most other universities. But I think probably life as a student wasn't quite the same for the Prince of Wales. But it's well worth a visit to look at the church, but also the lovely hall and the grounds. Just as you exit the ground, there's the huge Cambridge American Cemetery. It commemorates the Americans that died in World War II and the huge contribution they made to the Allied victory in Europe. It's an awe-inspiring cemetery. I know it might not sound like an upbeat day to go and visit something like that, but there is incredible beauty there in what they've built. Just within a couple of minutes from there is another sculptural mecca. Churchill College is one of the university colleges in Cambridge, and it's on the Madingley Road, and it has the most incredible sculpture trail. There's just no way a sculpture vulture would want to miss it. The collection has got many of the really well-known sculptors in the world, such as Barbara Hepworth, but she also keeps excellent company among them. Louisa Forbes' sculpture of a Sococo Scops owl is in the collection, and Louisa is going to be interviewed by me later in the season, so you mustn't miss that. I realise that this little zone is fractionally outside of the city, might seem inconvenient, but in these crazy times with the shadow of COVID always with us, this is actually a perfect place to visit. It's super quiet and all outdoors, very safe, absolutely chock full of sculpture, and it would be a very short cab ride to get there. I just guarantee that you'd have a lovely few hours there if you took the trouble. Don't forget, Hazel Reeves is coming up on the air on Tuesday the 28th of July. It is quite possible that I didn't give you the right date in the last update, and in order to prevent yourself from getting muddled by all my misinformation, the best thing you can do is to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss these fantastic interviews. She really is worth listening to. I know that you'll enjoy it. If you're looking for a new book, please consider one of my novels about the dark side of the art world, where sculpture is always at the heart of the story. You can get them on the show website, on the usual online retailers, or even better, keep your local library alive, ask for them in there. Thank you for joining me today. Sculpture Vulture has been brought to you by Antique Bronze.